A simple question about CO2 and ethanol sparked a complex answer. Here's John Phipps.
Grayling Willer from Akron, Iowa has questions about proposed CO2 pipelines from ethanol plants. There have been CO2 pipeline projects proposed to go through our area carrying CO2 from ethanol plants to underground storage somewhere. I thought the byproducts of ethanol production were DDGs, MWDGs, and syrup, all good usable feed ingredients. I feel a little foolish to find there is one I didn't know about and that they want to pump it far away for storage. Could this process be improving air quality but putting groundwater quality at risk? Why transport CO2 to storage? Can it be used or stored locally? Where is this CO2 going now without the pipeline? Okay, these are all great questions, but as I started working on the answers, I realized couldn't begin to be done in 3 minutes, so I'll finish next week, maybe. Let's look at how ethanol plants make carbon dioxide to begin with. Here's the big picture. You grind corn up, mix it with water, cook it, add enzymes to turn the starches into simple sugars, ferment it, and then distill it. The carbon dioxide is produced during the fermentation. Yeast, single-celled organisms more like a fungus than an animal or a plant, consume the sugars and release CO2. It is this natural process that puts the bubbles in champagne and beer and the holes in your bread. Using round numbers, the average ethanol plant generates about 150,000 metric tons of CO2 per year. This is the stuff coming from fermentation and doesn't include the CO2 from whatever fuel heats the mash. For comparison, a typical 500 megawatt coal plant emits about 3.5 million tons, or 20 times more. Only 43 ethanol plants out of about 200 in the U.S. capture any carbon dioxide, so the rest just vent it to the atmosphere. The industrial market for carbon dioxide is about 30 million metric tons, and the biggest use is for carbonation in beverages. But ethanol CO2 is not quite as pure as competing sources like ammonia plants for that market. The fastest growing use is enhanced oil recovery, EOR, which helps squeeze out oil in wells with declining production. Ethanol is the largest supplier of the carbon dioxide market, but it's not being produced where it's needed in order to expand. So next week I'll tackle carbon dioxide storage, transportation, and economics.
Thanks, John. And can ethanol production produce net zero carbon emissions? Well, the answer from the farm next.
Closed captioning on U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by BASF, helping you do the biggest job on Earth.